Oh my gosh. Oh my word. How are we alive? How are we even alive? We want to try a new video format, current events, where we talk about things that are going on right now from a good and basic perspective. So let's talk about the nuclear apocalypse, and really the nuclear apocalypse that it looked like it was happening in Hawaii, and then it was not happening in Hawaii. Now, there are lots of people who are better qualified to take apart the specifics of this event, and I won't go over the details of it right here and now. I do want to make a couple of points real fast that I think are good and useful to understand. So, being agitated about the coming nuclear apocalypse because Donald Trump has his finger on the nuclear button and then there's Kim Jong-un in Korea, that's very fashionable these days, and I want to kind of take that apart. So first of all, nuclear war is much less likely than you might think it is, because people aren't totally stupid, and especially even if they are totally stupid, they're usually not too stupid about surviving. Even during the Cold War, where the United States and the Soviet Union had vast ideological differences, we managed to not intentionally kill each other directly with nuclear missiles because we all wanted to survive. Now you could look at Joseph Stalin. He is not the most mentally stable of individuals, and we still managed to survive that. So is nuclear war actually going to happen because Kim Jong-un says so or Donald Trump says so? Possible, but unlikely. Actually, what's much more likely to cause a nuclear war is stupid, dumb luck. Blind accidents that nobody can see coming and that will happen no matter who's in power. If you want a fun read, go look up online and find out about the nuclear close calls during the Cold War. There are a huge number, and they are horrifying. At the height of the Cuban Missile Crisis, Soviet patrol submarine B-59 almost launched a nuclear-tipped torpedo while under harassment by American naval forces. Radar equipment in Thule, Greenland, mistakenly interpreted a moonrise over Norway as a large-scale Soviet missile launch. There's a U-2 spy plane that is heading for the North Pole, and because of the northern lights, it drifts off course. The pilot loses his way and ends up in the Soviet Union. So the sub goes down, and the naval forces drop practice depth charges to tell it to surface. And it doesn't surface because it thinks they're real depth charges, it thinks it's under attack. And so they're down under the surface, and they're like, well, we've lost communications with headquarters, so maybe the war has already started, so let's launch that 10-kiloton nuclear torpedo against the American ships. Commanders at U.S. Air Force Base in Wyoming lost most forms of command, control, and security monitoring over 50 nuclear ICBMs. So NORAD went on high alert, but the reason why they backed down is because Nikita Khrushchev was actually in New York at the time. And so they were like, wait a second, he's not going to nuke the U.S. while he is here. Oh yeah, here's a fun one. The Russian satellites misinterpreted the glint of sunlight off clouds near Montana as a missile launch. Cuban Missile Crisis. So the Soviet Union freaks out, scrambles fighter jets to go trail it. We literally dropped nuclear weapons in one of the Carolinas. I can't remember if it was North Carolina or South Carolina, but literally we're flying over. There's a bomber flying over. And they hit the wrong button and the bomb bay is open and drops the nuclear bomb. That is like the single worst thing that can happen to you if you work at a nuclear launch site. And then the US freaks out and scrambles fighter jets with nuclear-tipped missiles. Anyone had shot there, like, it drops the bomb over the Carolinas, for heaven's sakes. And so the conventional explosives went off, but the nuclear explosion did not go off. Obviously, because if it had, you would be reading about it in the history books. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's totally nuts. Like so many stories. And that's why I'm saying, if nuclear war happens, it will be because of something totally stupid that nobody could have seen coming and would have happened no matter who's in control. And that is how we will all die. That's how we're all gonna die. So on some level that's very optimistic, and on some level I suppose it's not. Take what you will from that. The really important thing there though is that once you recognize that, you have to back up and think, okay, if nuclear war is much less probable, and also if it does happen much less avoidable than the news cycle is making it appear, then why are we talking about it? That's a good question, and you could probably take that question apart for days in terms of political maneuvering and so forth. The point that I want to get out there is that many of the things that are in the news don't really matter. They are serving short-term narratives. A week from now, we won't really care about this and it won't mean anything. But it is being leveraged in the short term for political posturing and gain. So I'd say the first lesson of analyzing current events from a good and basic perspective is figure out what's really important, because most of it isn't. Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. My optimism notwithstanding, I do sincerely hope that we are not all dead in a week. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like and subscribe below. Is that too dour?